Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to this amazing video of job role interview questions. So today we are going through MIM, that is Major Incident Management. Okay, so let me share my screen. So let's start with the very first question. In simple words, explain major incident. Okay, so basically you can think of major incident as a very serious IT incident. Okay, that hits critical business service. Okay, not just a user laptop. So it is affecting masses. Okay, affecting a lot of users, locations, and the key business processes are impacted at the same time. Okay. So now in this scenario, you are not going to follow the normal incident process. You will use a special, faster process with a dedicated role and strong communication. This is the need of this particular major incident. And the main goal here is to stabilize or restore the core service as quickly and safely as possible. It doesn't matter what your workaround is, whether temporary or permanent, but you have to, as soon as up the services. So once the service is stabilized, then you can come back and start with the problem management to understand what was the root cause behind this, major incident. Okay. And then once you get the root cause, then you can fix the issue properly. So guys, before you move forward, I have a good news to share with you. So in my English channel as well as in my Hindi channel, I have opened the membership, and this membership is there for someone who is looking to learn ServiceNow from scratch. Okay, even though you are not a technical person, but this is for you, and we already have started with various videos with respect to ServiceNow admin. After that, we are going to discuss ServiceNow development, asset management, web services, all the courses which are there to provide a complete foundation for a ServiceNow developer or ServiceNow architect. Okay, so we go in deep in both English and Hindi. So if you want, you can subscribe to our membership, because this is the only platform here in which you see the structured content on the latest release of ServiceNow, that is Australia or whatever comes there. Okay, so I am giving you live demos, I am giving you great examples. Thank you so much. See you soon. Now let's move to question 2. How major incident is different from a normal incident? So you know till now that major incident is not exactly as same as normal incident. Okay, because normal incident follow a standard life cycle with usual SLAs, okay, standard escalations, and one support team who is dedicatedly working on it. Whereas a major incident, on the other hand, triggers an enhanced response with a major incident manager. We have a war room or a bridge call going on, and very frequently we are sharing updates with the leadership and the affected users. So with the major incidents, you focus on coordinating multiple teams at once and making fast decisions as compared to normal incident, where a single group or a simple support group was working towards it. So these are the few things which makes a normal incident different from a major incident. Let's move to question number 3. Why do organizations need a separate major incident management process? So basically, a company need or an organization need a separate major incident process because high impact outage behave very differently from a normal day-to-day incident. Also, because in a big outage, if you rely only on a normal process, you get a slower response. You get a parallel email threads which are going on because people are, very frustrated, unclear ownership, as well as lots and lots of confusion. That's why a dedicated major incident process gives you a clear command, okay, clear agenda, and a structured way for multiple teams to work together in real time. It also provides an opportunity to coordinate with the executives, business units, customers, so that the organization's reputation, okay, is protected when such event occurs or when the thing goes wrong. Okay, move to next question. What are the common criteria to declare a major incident? Okay, so basically it depends on organization to organization, but within an organization, you should always use a clear criteria to declare a major incident instead of relying on gut feeling. So generally people use gut feeling, but no, you must have a specified criteria for that. Why? Because without criteria, some teams will underdeclare and respond too late, while others are overexcited, overdeclared, and they cause major fatigue. So based on the initial impact, people behave and take time, which should not be happen. Okay. So what are the major factors which you should look at? You should look at service criticality, number of affected users, locations which are involved, the timings, and the risk to revenue, compliance, and the brand. Okay, all these things you have to consider whether this should be a major incident or not. Okay, so once you have the criteria ready, make sure your teams, like your escalation managers, service desk managers, service desk users, are fully compatible with that. They should be trained enough to understand whether this incident is a outage or major incident. Now, next question is, what is the role of major incident manager or incident commander? Okay. So basically, you should see the major incident manager as a person who owns the overall response, not only just a technical expert. Because their main job is to coordinate teams, okay, manage the war rooms, keep everyone aligned, but not to deeply involve in the technicality, like debugging the logs by themselves. So being a major incident manager, you should decide who need to join the bridge, what actions are to be prioritized here, and how often updates go out to different audiences like customers, higher management, all and all. Okay. It is the MIM manager that ensure that every important decision and action is captured properly because that information is very much crucial. And later for post-incident review, all these things are going to be used by problem and the change teams. So you must have certain repository, certain way to capture all these things. Also, being a MIM manager, you should be responsible in closing the major incident properly. Okay. And then finally confirm stability with business or the users who were affected and make sure the follow-up actions are assigned and tracked properly. So these are the roles and responsibility of MIM manager. How should communication be handled during the major incident management? Okay. So till now you have understood that communication is the key part here. Okay. So that's why you should never improvise communication in major incident. You should always follow a simple but a clear communication plan. Because if you do not have a plan, updates will become irregular, messages become inconsistent, and leadership will lose the trust in you and in your process very quickly. And obviously, it will have a disastrous effect, not only on this particular situation, but overall reputation of your company or of service provider. So at the beginning of major incident, you have to decide who sent the internal updates, who handle the business user, or who can face the communication, okay, with the users. And finally, what will be the update frequency? So sharing update is fine, but each update should be clearly stating what is the impact, what actions are in progress, okay, and what you are going to do next, and when you are going to send the next update. Even if there is no further development, you have to send the updates. You have to communicate these things regularly with the users. And finally, all these communication should not be only on the emails, but you should use the actual incident form or notes and activities of that form, okay, so that once you are done with this incident, once you are done with the outage, later anyone can review it and take further actions. And finally, it is the job responsibility of major incident manager to look at all these things, okay, with clear focus and see if there is any improvement needed, okay, any sign of improvement. If it is there, then please go ahead and implement that. Let's move to question number 7. What should be the main focus during major incident? A quick restoration or root cause? Obviously, it is quick restoration. You already know that this is the primary focus. Okay. So basically, in a major incident, you should focus on quick restoration. It is fine and reduce the business impact during the active phases of major incident. Okay. Because if you dive too deep into the root cause analysis, it will take time. And while the services are down, you can delay the simple workaround with the quick fixes that would really help the user and the business, okay, to up as soon as possible, to restore as soon as possible. So it will take up the time. You have to think such questions like, what can we do right now to make the service usable again, even partially or with restriction, but you have to make some progress in restore the services, partially or restricted. That is fine, but yes, restoration is very much needed there. You can take care of root cause later once you fix the issue and come up with a permanent fix. So this is all about this question. Let me move to question number 8. How does major incident connect to a problem and change management? It's a quite simple question. Okay. So basically, you should always see a major incident management, problem management, and change management as a connected trio. Okay, because major incident show you where is the biggest pain is, problem tell you why this particular pain is happening, and the change is there to implement the real fix so that your pain will not happen anytime soon. Okay, in future. So after you restore the service, you can create or link a problem record with the major incident. Okay. And then hold the root cause analysis, technical findings, and then finally proposed a long-term actions. And then once you have the root cause, then finally you can configure a change, schedule a change, and then implement the change as soon as possible. So basically in major incident, we start with the emergency change. That is the one change, but once we get the root cause, we can, uh, you know, uh, implement a normal change. And that will not be just a workaround, that will be a permanent fix. Move to the next question. What is the post-incident review and what should it cover? So basically, you can think of a PIR or post-incident review as a structured learning session after major incident. Okay, it's not a blame game meeting. Okay, so you have to keep this in mind because the major value or the real value of a major incident comes from what you learn and improve afterward, not only from surviving the outage. What you have learned is the most important thing so that it will not happen again. So that's why PIR is very important. In PIR, you walk through the timeline. Okay. You can check or you can find out what triggered that incident, how it was detected, and how you diagnosed it later. Okay. What was the diagnosis you prepared, and what decisions were taken, and how the communication is communicated or things are communicated around with the people. Okay. What type of communication you have used there. After that, you identify the technical actions, propose changes, training, documentation, all these things are involved in PIR. Finally, the last question, how can you reduce the number and impact of major incident over time? We have to learn from our mistakes, okay? So basically, you should never treat major incident as one of bad luck. You treat it as a strong input for your continual improvement, okay? Because if you think so, then only you can proceed. Major incident give you one more opportunity to again overview or look into your design, your monitoring process, okay, and how you are handling these incidents. All these things should be checked thoroughly. Then you have opportunity to improve the monitoring. Okay, you can strengthen the change and release control on high risk services, as well as work with the architects to remove any kind of single point of failure wherever possible. So this is how you can reduce the number and impact of major incident over time. So ladies and gentlemen, this is it for this video. I will come up with one more session of major incident. Okay. This is also one of the important thing which we have to take care. So part 2 will come soon. Subscribe to this channel and share this video with someone who is looking for such interview questions and get immense knowledge from it. Thank you so much.